Hi and welcome to Good and Great Christian Book Reviews. Today I want to look at a superb book by one of my favourite authors and teachers, and it is this Incomparable Explorations in the Character of God by Andrew Wilson. It's not a new book, it's over 10 years old, but it's the type of book that I read again and again and again. Let me tell you why I read it again and again and again. It's because it is a book about doctrine and devotion. Now sometimes those things don't seem to go together. We can think of devotion as being something which is devoid of doctrine, devoid of thinking. But actually what Andrew Wilson does is show that our true devotion should come from true doctrine, that really what we think about God and we see of God will burn in our hearts and help us not only in the worship of our kind of Son corporate worship, but also in the way we live. So the introduction to the book, for example, shows how our doctrine affects whether we're going to help people who are enslaved in the sex industry, for example. So it's a phenomenal book in that sense. Now when it comes to doctrine and devotion, I guess the two words that come to mind are dull and dry. Dull and dry. And this book is anything but dull and dry. Firstly, the topic, God, is superb. It is amazing. But secondly, the way Andrew Wilson writes and thinks and explains is just infectious. So this book is not dull or dry in any way, shape or form, on any page or in any paragraph. Now the book can be read in two ways. I guess you could read it cover to cover as you would any other book, and I think that is possible. I've done that once and it is a good way to read the book, because what he's doing is he's explaining to you about the names of God and the character of God and who God is, and it is an infectious read. But I think the best way to read the book is as a devotional book, to use it amongst really your quiet time on a daily basis. And if you do that, it'll last you about 2 months. There's 50 or 60 kind of thoughts. They last about a page and a half. So they're very easy to read in 5 or 10 minutes. But what you'll find is you'll read it in the morning or at your lunch break or whenever, and it will make you think. It will come into your conversation throughout the day. So it really is a brilliant book. Ultimately, I think when you read this book, you are left with two things. It's not dull, it's not dry, but actually you end up discovering things about God you never knew. You end up discovering things about God that you'd never thought through. You've ended up discovering that there are things which you thought you weren't meant to understand as a Christian, but you actually can understand. So you discover, but secondly, and this is the wonderful thing, you will delight. You will delight in God, you will worship, you will grow as a Christian. So this isn't a good book, this is a great book. This isn't a book just to read once, this is a book to read many times. It is superb, and there it is, Incomparable Explorations in the Character of God, Doctrine and Devotion that isn't dull and dry, but drives you to discover and to delight. Enjoy it.